Hey people, it is Friday, August the 26th. And the time is 5:55 in the morning. And I'm here at Jarvis Street East and Gerrard Street East and Jarvis Street. You can tell it's early because I don't know what street I'm on or how to pronounce them. I'm walking south here along Jarvis. And I'm going to make my way here from the east side of downtown over to the west side of downtown at this very early morning hour. Every once in a while I like to torture myself by getting up at an ungodly hour and coming out to walk around the city. I think the last time I did it was for a live stream, which began even earlier than this. I think that began at 5:15 a.m. And the sun hasn't risen yet, obviously, so we'll most likely catch the sunrise before this walk is over. There's Mutual Street. And one of the best things about these early morning walks is there's very little traffic at this time, at least downtown. It's probably a different story on the highways coming into the city, but the downtown streets are still relatively quiet and peaceful, and so I can just walk on the street if I want to. So there's Gould Street, so I think I'll make my way into the Toronto Metropolitan University campus to Victoria, and then we'll head south on Victoria before I start making my way over to the west side of downtown. Here's the former Sears merchandise warehouse, which is now a very expensive loft complex with my neighborhood grocery store at the bottom. And it's feeling very muggy. For 20 degrees, it feels more like 27 according to the Humidex already at this time of day. So here's Church Street, so I'm just going to walk across this light at this time of day. Why not? Looks like orientation is beginning here on campus. This will be the first new school year after the name change from Ryerson University. And I've said before that the new name doesn't really roll off the tongue that easily. Toronto Metropolitan University. I think people just call it TMU or even TM. I wouldn't be surprised if people even just start calling it Toronto. What school do you go to? I go to Toronto. Of course, the University of Toronto also exists, but people just call that U of T. So here's where Victoria Street begins, so I'm going to start heading south. It looks like the Devonian Pond has been drained of all its water. I'm not sure why that is. And even at this extremely early hour, we have people hanging out blasting music. Toronto, you never let me down. You never let me down. No shortage of obnoxious people at any hour of the day. I did not think I'd have to contend with this sort of thing at 6 a.m. Early morning crossing of the streetcars. The 506 Carlton is currently using the 505 Dundas tracks due to construction on Carlton Street. Here's the well-known, brightly lit landmark of downtown, Yonge Dundas Square. And I think I see the first hints of the sunrise.
I don't have my I remember when everyone was here, I was just
And I haven't noticed lately if the Senator has reopened. It seemed to have been closed up for the longest time. And it doesn't look any different obviously at this hour, but I'll have to walk by in the regular business hours to see if it's still locked up. That was the oldest continually operating restaurant in Toronto, I think. I'm not sure if the pandemic did it in or There are other circumstances that led to its closing, if it even is closed. There's the Ed Mirvish Theatre, currently staging a production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Of course, this is the backside of the theatre. Victoria Street kind of is the back end of many notable buildings on Yonge Street that front onto Yonge Street. Whoa, it's here. I guess I can go. Crossing Shooter Street, there's Massey Hall. And it was also the site of a major renovation over the last few years. See the newly completed Allied Music Center. And here's the backside of another major downtown theater, the Elgin and Winter Garden Theater, which also fronts onto Yonge Street. That's a stacked theater. There's two theaters on top of one another. It's an Ontario Northland bus. These are the buses that take me up to North Bay to visit my mother. Looks like this guy's having a hard time pulling in here. Make it this time. Looks like he successfully got in there. So here we're at Queen and Victoria, so now I'm going to start.
Fuck you, you're a fucking bitch. I will fucking kill you. You're a fucking bitch. Hey, sit the fuck down. This is fucking day. I'm gonna raise some fucking.
That's some early morning erratic behavior. Now, as I was saying, we're going to start heading west now on Queen Street. And I'll take us over to the west side of downtown. Crossing Yonge Street. I went to bed about an hour earlier than usual last night in order to wake up extra early today, but I had a hard time falling asleep, and I don't think I fell asleep until after my normal bedtime, so that really didn't do me any good at all. Oh, that's all right. Later on this morning, I plan on going back to bed and making up for lost sleep. Here's Old City Hall. So now we've crossed over to the west side after crossing Yonge Street. Bay Street. Now the downtown traffic is picking up a bit. City Hall and the Toronto sign at Nathan Phillips Square. And I just kicked garbage on the street.
Who's on the side there?
And I'd be willing to bet everything I own that those girls are on their way to the gym. And I think I could even guess which gym they're on their way to. I'm going to say Tonic and Sweat on the corner of Yonge and Shooter. And here's the iron gate that surrounds Osgood Hall. As you look down York Street. So we're just walking along the northern boundary of the financial district right now. And this is new territory for me as far as these early morning walking videos go. I've never gone down Queen West in any before sunrise video, as far as I know. I've always stuck to the east side of downtown in most of my early morning walks, since that's where I live, and it was just more convenient. Here's University Avenue. Normally at this time of morning, the air has a bit of a refreshing nip to it, you know, even in the summer, but not today. It's just disgustingly humid and sticky. I'm coated in sweat already. I think by the time this walk is over, I'll be drenched. I wonder what time they turn these fountains on. Look down Simcoe Street. Now at some point I'm going to start walking back eastward again, sort of walking directly towards the sunrise. I'm not sure which street I'll take to head south. But I'm thinking I'll take Adelaide Street to head back eastward. So here's Queen Street West at 6:30 in the morning or thereabouts, 6:20 I suppose. I'm thinking back through the almost 12 years I've lived in the city, and I don't think I've ever been on this part of Queen Street at this time of day, ever. I've never had any reason to be. So that's another first. There's McCaul Street. Here's the CTV, formerly the famous Much Music building. Queen and John. So I think I'll go as far west as Peter Street, and then I'll head south on Peter down to Adelaide. Or maybe I'll even go as far south as King. I don't know, I haven't really decided yet. There's a look south down John. North towards Grange Park. And the famous black market, that's been a mainstay on Queen West for decades, over 30 years. Maybe 40. This is Beverly Street, looking very tranquil. Here's Peter Street. So I'm going to start heading south. No, sorry. You can see the sun is starting to rise in the east. And you can almost guarantee if someone does approach you at this time of morning, they're most likely asking you for a smoke or for a spare change. But then again, that's kind of the rule anytime someone approaches you in downtown Toronto on almost any time of day, really. Here's Richmond Street. And Peter Street has really been filling in with all these new tall buildings. It's becoming quite the canyon. Never used to be like this. Cross over to the other side. So it's 6:30 now, and the construction guys are already at work. Although I'm not sure if they can start doing the actual noisy formwork and things like that until 7 a.m. I think that's recently been implemented. I think it used to be 6 a.m. I might be wrong about that. So here's Adelaide Street. Maybe I will just walk down to King and then maybe go back up to Adelaide again, further down. And I don't know why I'm waiting. It's like there's no traffic, Ken. You don't have to wait for the light. There's the awesome Adelaide Street Canyon. I just was curious to see if this view of the CN Tower has been further impacted here. I used to see the tower just popping up between these two residential buildings, and you can still see the edge of it there. But as you can see, a new building is under construction that has sort of blocked half of the tower. But you can still make it out, and as you head further south it does come into view, so looks like this view won't be completely lost. Actually, it's kind of a little more cool now. You got more layering going on with that third building under construction now. I think that'll make for some cool Instagram shots, I'm sure. Here's King Street. So now we're heading back eastward towards the sunrise. Man, this new building is starting to get some height now. I would walk on the street here to get a better shot straight down the street towards the sunrise, but this is sort of a busy transit corridor and the streetcars are quite frequent. But there we go. This is Restaurant Row we're passing by. King Street through downtown is a transit priority corridor, so cars can only travel one block before having to turn off of King onto a side street, but of course the streetcars are therefore permitted to travel more freely. Without cars slowing them down. We're back at John Street. It looks like even the hot dog stands are already open. I always thought that was kind of funny. Wonder how many people get hot dogs for breakfast. We got a new show opening here. This theater was shut down for years, as were all the theaters really. I think the Mirvish Theatre was the first one to spring back to life with the Harry Potter show. And there's an awesome shot. So I think I'm going to head back up to Adelaide. There's another look at the sunrise. So this is Duncan Street. And we've got some fire escapes. Whenever I pass by a fire escape, I always look to see if the access ladder is low enough for me to grab onto in case I ever want to climb to the top. These ones don't appear to be accessible. You need a ladder to get to the ladder. Pearl Street. I was trying to remember the name of this street. And here we are back on Adelaide. There's the Shangri-La, luxury hotel and condominium. check out the King Tut exhibit at the ROM. Back at University Avenue. In the heart of the financial district. I think Friday is largely a work from home day for a lot of the office workers. So it's a bit quieter than Thursday, that's for sure. Thursdays seem to be quite busy these days, even in the financial district. It's still a long way from being fully recovered from pre-pandemic levels. I don't know if it ever will be. I think working from home is going to be something people are willing to fight for now that they've gotten a taste of it. But there are plenty of businesses that do rely on the office workers here in the financial district. Most notably in the Path, the underground network of shops and restaurants. It's almost exclusively kept alive by office workers. We have an unexpected truck. It's probably supplying one of the restaurants in the Path. Bay Street. Just passing by Scotia Plaza. We are back at Yonge Street. So I think I'm going to start to wrap up the video here as I make my way back north onto Yonge Street. So I hope you enjoyed the super early morning pre-sunrise into sunrise walk around downtown, from the east side of downtown over to the west side, and then back to the dividing line here along Yonge Street. So leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts. Do you enjoy these early morning walks? I do them every once in a while. Let me know if you'd like to see more, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store, and the recently enabled Super Thanks button right down below. And you can also find me on Instagram under K Continuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because, as always, I will continue.